Hello and welcome to this video where I hope to demonstrate using Excel as a web server, something you probably wouldn't imagine it could do, but I'm going to go on and show it. And when I say Excel as a web server, not only do I not just mean static files such as HTML files and JavaScript files, but I also mean Excel as a REST server, so dynamically returning content like it was active server pages, taking a template perhaps if you wanted to. But actually, with a REST server, we end up returning JSON, which is held in memory, which is dynamically generated. And I think this is rather innovative, so I hope to show this. Um, so, so you can call into Excel in this program which I've written. So you can call into Excel and ask it to serve up data in a form. So we start off with a form here. This is an HTML form. Well, it's just HTML when I say form. It's a table with just a load of divs. And what we're going to do is, so that's the form in its natural state with no data whatsoever. And then we have this. This is the data. This is the data. This is the form with the data already sitting in it. So what's happened here is that we're using a browser-based technology called Angular, which comes from Google, and it's designed to call into REST servers and to populate the form. And what I can do here is if let's just explain it. Up here we have the welcome message. Here we have some sort of updates, but the main action goes on in this table here. So we have a list of beers. So we have the brand and the country of the beer. And well, what I can do is I can delete these beers. When I delete a beer, you get a little status update that says so-and-so beer is finished. This message up here always returns the top beer. So if I just delete the top beer, then it should change. And it should say, well, okay, now the top beer is the Chinese beer. And what I can do is I can, well, if I could remove all of them. And it's like, well, that's not very good. So I need some more. I need to take a delivery. So if I press this button called Take Delivery, which is, it was called the reset button. It is essentially a reset button. What I'm doing is I'm replenishing the resources here, the list of beers. So I got a standard list of 4 beers, and those are the default beers. And if we just go over here, I want you to see that whilst this is a form, whilst this is an HTML file, it makes calls into the web server, which is hosted in Excel, for resources. So here we're saying, okay, go get me the beers, and if I press F5, I get the standard 4 beers. Now I actually added one earlier. Let me re-add that. So let's just add Cronenberg, and that's from France. That's 1664. And so that goes to the bottom of the list. If I press F5 here, we should see that the 5th beer should appear now. And there it is. So what you're seeing here is that the web server, or Excel acting as a web server, is holding internally a list of beers in its memory. It could save them to a worksheet, or it could do anything it wants. It could save them to a file, but we'll see later it's actually holding them in memory. And this data format is JSON, and JSON is well, it's a bit like XML except without the angle brackets, and also it's kind of geared off of key value pairs. So you should see here is a key value pair. So we have brand is the key, and in this case Budweiser is the value. And so we have brand and country, and they repeat. Okay, so those are the keys. So it's like kind of defining a field. Well, it's quite evident. We'll see what we're doing here. We have every beer has a brand and every beer has a country. So you see this syntax here. This is JSON syntax. So we say the brand here is Budweiser, and the country here for this beer is United States. And each of these objects is encompassed in a set of curly brackets, and but there's more than one of them. In fact, there's an array of them, and how we define an array is we have a square brackets at either end, and we have comma separated values. So each of these is an object. So that was an object that's highlighted. This is also an object, and you can see the pattern. So that's an array of 5 beers, and it's dynamic. If I press take delivery, we get back. It resets the list, and I go back. Press F5, and you can see that the list is reset. So, and actually, let me just demonstrate deleting a few beers. Let's go off. Press F5. You can see that the list has been maintained in memory, and that's what's driving the form. So Angular is calling in with requests to the REST server, and it's calling in with HTTP verbs such as get, put, post, and delete. When it says get, it means give me a list. When it says put, that's usually for amendment. When we say post, that's for an adding. So when we added this little bit down here, that a post takes place. And when we delete with the X here, it's sent over with an HTTP verb of delete. So, well, that's pretty much it. I think what I would next show you is the internal details of the application, but that I think they've given you a good idea of what we're aiming for, what the end product looks like.